Hello, my friends. I'm so glad that you can come today. So glad that you can paint along with me. We're gonna have a lot of fun because today I have something which I think is really cute planned for you guys. I would like to call this painting Vision of Sugar Plums, and I will do this in two parts because I don't know if it will be too tired for you to do this all in one shot, in one video. Of course, you guys never have to do that. You can always pause it. But sometimes I realize that when I finish a really long segment of painting, I do get a little tired. So I am going to try something and do it in two shots, in two videos, and I guess two posts. But it will be just like one for you. Okay, let me show you this is my practice that I told you that I always do some practice. We're gonna call this Vision of Sugar Plum with a sleeping bear and the vision of Sugar Plum dancing in his head. And so I'm not going to use this bear, and I make another practice and find out that I really like this one a lot better. And so today we're gonna go through and teach you how to do this one. Isn't that gonna be fun? It'll be really fun, and I am going to make it as clear and simple as I can. Mainly the same brushes, my traditional Chinese, and then I have this Rosemary & Co. Kolinsky Sable. Is a little bit bigger, and you will know why I need that. And the color, we're gonna use a very simple. Just for the bear, it'll be sepia, some Payne's Gray, some burnt umber, and some black. I think that's it. And okay, and I also will leave a drawing because this will be kind of hard for you to, if you don't know how to draw, to do that. And so I'll leave a drawing of the bear and in the blog post so that you can go and trace it. I'll do whatever it takes for you to get the bear ready. Okay, now so right here now I have this pencil drawing, and I wanted to show you a little bit the process of how I do things. Okay, and so when you try to draw, sometimes the most detailed part I press down a little bit harder. So when I'm ready to paint, usually I just don't like to have so much of a guideline, and so I'm going to come in and use just a simple eraser and dab away. Okay, now on this part where the bear is actually the light is coming here, and so it'll be a lot lighter in this area right here. I actually remove quite a bit. Okay, and then I think, oh, I might not want his face to be so round. Okay, and then I come over here and then I just dab away. Okay, so you can tell that I use a lot of pressure. Not really. When you draw on your watercolor paper, use light pressure, okay? So I'm going to come in and dab this line off. It's not necessary, but I guess for me, I really like to have a faint outline to help me instead of a very strong outline, if I may say so. But you do whatever you are comfortable. And so let's start, and I hope that you can follow along. And like I say, always just pause it if I'm going too fast, because I do have the constraint of time myself, but you don't. Okay, and I hope you will like my painting and also my tutorial, and I really love to hear from you. Okay, and so let's start. Okay, so most of the time it's easier if we do things in segments. So I'm gonna do this ear, part of his face, and then the other part of his face. Okay, I have these guidelines to help me. That is just to, because with grizzly bear they do have a little fuzzy over there, and then I am actually gonna dab this part away and see if I would like to do that. Yeah, not so distinct. This is the part that I don't like with this practice because of the eye, and so I'm going to try to correct that with my final painting. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so what I'm going in is dip in. Oh, and then I'm going to do something different. I'm going to have it in the corner of the video, the finished painting so you can follow along. I think that will be a lot more helpful if you guys can actually see while you're painting what you're actually trying to accomplish, right? And I didn't have that, and it is very simple to do that with iMovie. That's my editing software, so I'm going to try to do that, okay, for you guys, okay? And since it's the first wash, okay, we're going to do this very, very diluted with the pigment. Okay, I put in some pigment, and now I'm coming in with a clean brush and pull the pigment out, okay? So I wanted it to go all the way to the edge, but the edge of the ear around here is going to be just mainly water, okay? And so this will be so that it will make the ear look more roundish instead of just a triangle, because it is not a triangle, right? It is a full form, and we, as artists, we have to always keep that in mind. Okay, I have a form here. I'm not just painting a triangle because this is a living thing. And he, should we call him a he this time? Let's call him a he. How are you? I guess we are painters and we can just do things whatever we want, right? We give them names, we name them, we love our painting. Okay, I'm going to go in and take a little bit more of the pigment and let the watercolor. I really like that little white part there, and so I'll just let that stay there as much as I can. But maybe I can't when the painting is done. I might have to come in, or I actually would probably lose that little, but I will try to keep that there. Okay, and so you can kind of vaguely see the shape of the ear, and that's really nice. Okay, now sepia is very nice color to paint a grizzly bear, because grizzly bear almost look velveteen, velvet looking, and so it's kind of nice to, because sepia is a very sedimental, like you can see little spots on there because that's just the way the pigment is, and so that's kind of nice to have so much sediment. Okay, and so I'm coming in with the ear, and then just do it the same way as the other ear. Okay, I'm gonna have more defined edge over here, and then over there I'm going to pull the color out so it's a lot lighter because it's the first layer. I was talking to someone on Facebook. I like to look at people doing nature journaling because that's something that I really like to do when I go on vacation. And this lady, I told her to come and watch my stuff. I don't know if she would. If she would, that would be really fun for her to see my process. She was doing a bird, and she say, hey, for the bird, should I be doing it in 3 layers of color, you know? And so sometimes I answer people, not because I think I know what I'm talking about, and maybe a little bit, but I really like to do things about 3 layer. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 layers. But you know, when it's needed, you can do more. Just be very, very careful to keep the color more not muddy. If you're using the same color, you can actually do more. But sometimes, yeah, it is kind of sad that some painting it become very muddy if you keep going back and go back and go back and correct it. And I know that in the beginning we're uncertain and we make mistake and we do that, and so that come with time, right, and practice, and you will need to correct things less and less. Okay, while this is still a little bit red, a little bit wet, okay, I'm going to go in and drop in some burnt umber, just to, so most of the paint, this painting is that there's going to be sepia, and part of it I will have suggestion, let's say suggestion of burnt umber, because like I tell you before, I like to go to Yellowstone National Park a lot to look at bears and animals, and with a grizzly bear, at least from the distance that I'm safe viewing them, I cannot see burn a lot of red. Okay, and burn umber has a lot of red. I wet this part a little bit and put because I wanted to put a little bit of burn umber, just a suggestion of it, and where the highlight area, the dark area, is probably should be mostly sepia and black. And so I put a little bit of burn umber, and you will see that I will come in and do more. Okay. Now for the eye, I actually go in with ink pen, this kind of ink pen, the Micron. Do you see that? And then I put because I don't want the eye to move. I want it to be there, when I needed it to be there. Okay, and you will see that sometime when I am painting, I actually come in and dab things more. That's what I do. That's just something that I, because it's just a guideline to me, right? Okay, so now we get that two-part done. And in the original practice, I actually come in and I think I do this part of the face. I think that's what I did. Okay, so starting from here somewhere. Okay, and be sure not to, this is his claws, right? A paw. And so come over here, and so that you won't run into him. It's not good to run into him. And then you'll see how I do that. But I change into a bigger brush, a little bit bigger, this one that I showed you in the beginning, because the brush can actually handle a bigger part and keep it wet. Okay, and so I'm going to come in with the diluted sepia ink, sepia watercolor again. Okay, and then I'm going to come over here, and at this part of your painting, you really are just trying to put a base layer, if I may call that a base layer of painting there. Okay, of pigment there. So don't really worry about too much. Okay, we'll come in. Okay, what I'm doing here is softening the edge. Okay, so that it will have a softer edge instead of a hard edge over there. But don't worry about it too much though, because with this bear, that edge is okay if it give you a solid line, because we're gonna come over to the other side of the face and do some more other things to it. Okay, now the shape of the nose is almost like a box. Okay, so there is a curve right here, and in order for the towards the end, I will come and show you how to make the nose stand out to be more of a box like. Okay, but as of right now, I'm not trying to do that, because I can do that later. Now I'm just really, like what I just say, I'm putting a layer of base painting on this cute little bear. When my sister, okay, so I'm just keep pulling the pigment out and over here. Okay, and if the pigment is kind of getting no more, then you dip a little bit more, but don't dip a lot and make that a big patch of a sepia, and that wouldn't be very desirable. And while we're painting, we know that when he's laying down, his fur is going down this way. Okay, is kind of sweeping down, so we kind of follow, when we paint nature, we kind of follow what is actually in real life, because then sometimes the reason is sometimes we'll get some highlight here, okay, like little spot that we wanted to leave highlight, and it will be consistent with what the bear fur is going. Okay, so I like to do that. Okay, and then we can go all the way to the ear, all the way up to the ear, pulling the pigment out. Okay, all the way up to the ear, and just be happy with that, because those are pretty much dryish, and so the pigment won't go so easily. Remember when we were doing the poinsettias, we were talking about if I were touching the red, it might just come off. Did I complain about red? I actually love red color, but I'm still talking about it. Now we're doing a different painting. Oh, that's funny. Okay, now I've done that part, and so now I like to put it into segments, right? It's easier to handle. Okay, so I wanted the color to come all the way here, so I can kind of do it all the way here, and we can do it by segment. Let's do it by segment, then it might be a little easier for you to follow. But if you're more experienced, you can just do the head more. Okay, so my plan is, okay, come over here with my sepia, and okay, there's a line here. I want to keep that line, okay? Because that is where I think the bear is drooping. When you're laying on your side, okay, you're drooping. You can see that I leave a little bit of white right underneath the eye, the lid, okay? The reason is because it's trying to highlight the part of the eye, so that you can, because it's lighter, so you can see, it draws your eyes there a little bit. So I like to do that. Just leave this little strip right over there. Okay, don't paint that. Okay, I'm coming into softening the edge, but I don't need to do it too much, because we are. And just still do the same thing, following the natural fur, how he will go. Okay, and just go that way, like you're actually painting his fur, but you're not. And I think with watercolor, we try not to do that, okay? Try not to paint every single fur, because that will take a long time. And also, it's not necessary, okay? And so we're going this way, okay? Now, when we get closer to his head, you can see that I'm coming in and I'm using my eraser, the pencil mark, because I don't need it. I know where it is, okay? And over here, I kind of like it to disappear into the background, kind of. So I soften it. I don't know if you can see that. Sepia is kind of, when it's so light, it's kind of hard to follow, okay? And but that was what I was doing, okay? So this part is really, really wet right now. Really, really wet. And so I'm drawing my paintbrush and come here and pick up some of the wetness, because guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna come in and drop some burnt umber, but still following the shape of the fur where it's going, okay? And just drop it there, okay? Just a little bit. You can actually do a little bit more. I guess I'm too light-handed. Okay, you can do a little bit more. Because I'm looking at the picture of the real bear, and it looks to me that there's a lot of burnt umber on that area. Okay, I'm coming over here, and I'm going to leave this part as a highlight. I'm almost not going to paint anything over here, okay? And so I'm kind of wetting. I don't need to wet it ahead of time. I can put in my pigment now. Okay, and then as I'm looking at his fur, he looks like this. The fur is going like this way a little bit. This way, but not all that way. And then it kind of straighten up and going up that way. So I like to just kind of follow that, okay? And there's a little bit of highlight area over here, and then I will just leave that. Okay, and just do that. And I just tell you, I'm looking at a picture. I think that sometime I might want to explain a little bit of my creative process. Okay, so I know that actually my teacher is watching me, my maestro, because she learned her. I just absolutely love her. Her name is England, Sister England, I call her. She went to Italy, so I call her my maestro because, it's just the way I wanted to call her. And she actually watches my video, because I told her son is Wade, and he really know how to support people. They watches my video, and I really appreciate that. And you know, in the Chinese culture, we really respect our maestro. Love them because they're sharing the things that they learn with you. So I love them and respect them. And okay, let's go over here. And she always tell me, Kathy, you know, don't copy. And I don't copy people. But my creative process is I look at a lot of images, okay? A lot and a lot of images. And what I do is, that's how I get inspiration. Okay, so the third direction is going here, okay? So I will look at these images and I will think and I will look and I will just let my mind wander. And as I wander, sometimes something will come to me, like inspiration or, you know, okay, I also leave a little bit of that white over there, okay? Right under the eyelid, the closed eyelid, okay? And I would think to myself, and something will come and then a light bulb will go out. But sometimes it takes a lot of just looking around and or while you're in nature you think about it, and if something comes to your mind you will, okay, so this part is going to be all white, okay, and maybe I'll come in and put in just a drop, okay, but this is the part of his face, okay, I just wanted to let you know, and now I wet it. Okay, so I will leave that part alone, but I really enjoy this part, okay? Now, I really don't like the original rounding, too round, okay? So I'm going to square this up a little bit, okay? But I don't have to do it now, and I'll tell you later when I'll do it. But anyway, my maestro always tell me, Kathy, we don't copy. And I totally agree with her. We don't copy people's painting. But so what I would do is I would just look at a lot of things and then get my inspiration. And so my design is always my own and I don't have to copy. Okay, now so that's a tribute to my, you know, and I understand that, you know, you just sometimes artists like me, you know, we put a lot of hard work into it and thinking and such, and you know, nobody likes to just have somebody copy their stuff. But I will take inspiration from different pictures, sometimes even paintings, and then I will like, see, I'm following. I just use Pink's gray here. Okay, sorry, I need to you know, and then I'll put things together and create my own composition and painting, and then I feel good, and then it's all my original thought, you know, and I'm happy with doing that kind of thing. Okay, so I just wanted you to know. Sometimes when I say I'm looking at the picture, um, not copying. And sometimes it could be photograph, but I, after I paint something, it doesn't look the same anyway. And so that's something, you know, I do, and sometimes it take 5 and might even take 10. Okay, so I'm intensify the side, okay, so I make that look like a little square box, okay, because it needs to look like a box. It is not a round, it's not a square, it is a box, okay. So the way you do that, and I'm going to leave that now because it won't intensify over here, I'll come back and do that, okay. So as you do that, then it will look better. It will look like, oh, you painted a box, and the nose is standing up like a box. Okay, so I'm coming down here and use a little bit of darker color because this area is, you know, kind of covered. No rhyme, no reason why I do it at this point. But sometimes I just, you know, because I'm right next to it and I look at it and I say, oh, I need to darken that. You can do it at any time. Okay, so I just kind of darken that area. Okay, so now we can do the ears or we can do the paws. Let's just wet the paws, okay, should we? The claws, the paws, I would call it. Whatever comes to my mind. And so I'm going to use sepia, okay? And this is sepia and burnt umber, okay? So this is very, oh, that is a lot. See, there's a lot of pigment. Okay, use some more and then come in and dilute it, okay? So it's just a little diluted. And don't worry if you see some line, okay? And you don't see me being very worried. Because we're gonna come in with darker color as my practice. Actually, most of the time today I'm actually looking at my practice because I already done it. I'm looking at my practice to help me, okay? And I'm going to leave the claws, the sharp points, the nails. Is that how you call it? I'm going to leave the nails alone because I want it white, and I will come in and make it into a form probably at the very end, and you see, okay? All right, so we did that part, and I also want some burnt umber on it, okay? Just a little bit towards where the fur is covering the nail. Okay, a little bit more burnt umber over there. Okay, so over here, okay, this is a little triangle shape, so I think I'm actually quite happy. Okay, I'm gonna go in and randomly use my sepia paint, and I do also want some highlight. Okay, so I'm going to dab some of the finger at the pencil mark off. Okay, and as I am diluting the paint, I'm going to let this go light. You know, I can always darken it, but once I lose the light in watercolor, then I can't come and recover it, and I don't like that. Okay, and if those run in together because they're both wet now, and it will be okay because I will come in and separate them. Okay, and I think that's enough. Okay, so the general shape of our cute little bear is done. Okay, and so let's what should we do? Let's go do the ear because that is a very easy part. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go in and dip in quite intensely on the sepia color. Okay, and I'm going to come here and feather it out. Okay, so some of his hair actually go that way, so let's just start that way. Okay, and if it cross the line of the ear, then it's all the better because bears are really just like that, right? Their fur are not being confined by the shape of the ear. Furs go out, and that's great for them. Okay, so this is, I think when we paint animals and birds and whatever living thing, it's always good to go with the flow of how veins go, how things go, because that will, be more lifelike. Okay. Okay, and I'm gonna dry my brush and soften these feather right here. Okay, soften that a little bit so it's not, so some of that remain, some of my feathering, and some of that is gone. Okay. With this brush you have to be careful because when you clean it, then sometimes it carries a lot of the pigment. Okay, and it's I mean a lot of water and wetness and moisture, and it drop back into your painting, and sometimes it's not very desirable. Okay, and so I just go grab some burnt umber because I want a little bit of burnt umber on the ear, on the lighter part, because you can see it. Okay, back to sepia. Back to sepia. Maybe I'll change back into my other brush. This brush seems to have a lot of moisture whenever I do something with it, and I don't like that. Okay, now at this part it's beginning to taper off. Okay, so we need to make sure we do that. Okay, so now changing brush back to my good old trusty, my Chinese brush. I think the name of the brush is called Happy Dots. Can you imagine? Happy Dots means just a little dots, and I'm using a little dot to paint a bear. Okay, so I hope at time when you come down to it, you will find your own happy brush that you like, and you know, it fits you and the way you paint, and that's very fine. You know that you can just do that. Don't worry about you know following people and getting the brush that they want. Okay, so I really love that highlight and love that. I'm still leaving that. Okay, so as of right now, this is wet. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it. I think that's pretty much done. Maybe I'll come in and intensify it, but as of right now. But then there's a lot of water in it, so I don't know how it will turn out. But I'm just gonna leave that there. Okay, let's work on this side. It's pretty much the same, with my original practice and the practice, just pretty much the 2 years is about the same because that's what the pictures look like too. Yeah, and so I was telling you about my, my process, which is very good to let that I would do a lot of looking around. And so I don't really need to copy people. I don't, and copy one painting or whatever. I just go in and just do things, and the inspiration will come, and then I will do it. I really enjoy doing that because, then it's your own creativity and you created something, with your mind. Okay, there's some burnt umber right next to sepia, and we have discussed that before, right? Those two combine really well. They don't make mud, and they're very just happy friends. And so you can put that together. They can be right next to each other. Okay, so the pigment is going. And so now what I wanted to do now is come and feather this area out with just a brush with no pigment, okay? And I still am keeping in my mind that I want that area to be soft, okay? Just keep going and having fun. Just very gentle, light touch. I hope you guys, if you have been painting with me, that you are actually, find that it's enjoyable and fun, and it should be. Don't be too hard on yourself. You don't really get better by being too hard on yourself at one point, or beat a painting to the ground because you're not happy with it and keep correcting it and correcting it. You get better and make less and less mistake as you paint more and more painting. And I like that because that's very nice and merciful to us, right? Then we don't have to worry about okay, softening here, okay, and soften here and pull the pigment out and let it go all the way to the end of his ears, okay? And yeah, so we get better by practice, not by beating ourselves up on any one single painting. And in the beginning, we're going to make a lot of mistakes, and that's like totally fine and good. And we learn and we try to remember. I forget an appointment. It's a dinner, and the people that show up in the dinner say, "We missed you last night." I say, "What happened?" Last night? Okay, now there's a circle here that is that the feather will go like that, okay? And when we paint that, it make it more realistic. So I just wanted to do that, and I will put that in the drawing for you to see, so that you will be able to paint that, to include that into your painting, okay? And now I'm just going to take the brush. It's kind of dry with pigment, and go like this to show you a little bit of the direction of the feather, okay? It's kind of fun. It's this little things that we do like that make up the bear, okay? And that shouldn't, dry brush is easier in watercolor, as for me anyway, than to do a wet, really wet brush painting, but I know that, I understand that with everyone that's different. And you can tell me if you think that dry brush for you is easier, or actually you like wet and wet. You know, as you know that when I paint background, it's always wet and wet, right? And I find that that is easy too. Okay, that is easy too. And so, but dry brush is very easy. Okay, so now I'm smoothing that out, and that part is it will be kind of what I call disappear into the background. Okay, and I just go pick up some more pigment and maybe darken the feather around here a little bit more. Okay, so that ear, I'm happy with that ear. Okay, so as of right now, let's come and do this part of the face. Okay, or should we do this part? Let's do this part, and while I have good energy here. Okay, as I was telling you, the bear is not a flat rectangle. Okay, it is a form, a box. Okay, so as we paint the feather over here. Okay, I use some burnt umber over there in my practice. Okay, I don't remember why I make that decision, but I will just follow that. Okay, so a little bit of burnt umber. Okay, now I'm doing this part where the bottom, no, yeah, this is the box, that's the top of the box. Okay, let's say the side of the box. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Okay, and so that you can see that the form of his nose is beginning to form. Okay, it's beginning to form, and that's very nice. Okay, so I put that there and it formed the nose. Okay, and then I'm gonna come up here and do a little bit, because it turned, right? It turned from the side to the top, and so you change direction a little bit. Okay, so this part is straight up, this part is horizontal a little bit, and that will make you're turning with his nose. Okay, you make that. Can you see that? You can see the form of the nose already forming. Okay, and so let's come over here and do a little bit of feathering. In the original picture, it actually has nothing, but I think I will just do a little bit. You know, with this side, I think it is enough. You know, but I'm going to just put a little mark right there. So can you see that his nose is taking shape and forming up? Isn't that fun? Okay, just a little bit, and you can see that already. Okay, now okay, on the there's his feather down here is going down this way. Okay, so we should paint that, and I'm gonna paint that and paint a little triangle right here. Just to, when it's darker triangle, you can see that that is the part where the face of the bear actually sink in. So he's not just a flat bear. A flat bear. He's a bear that has forms and definition, right? Okay, I still want that that part, the white part that I try to so hard to preserve. I still wanted it to be there. Okay, and so as I'm feathering his fur down, these are his fur, not lashes. Okay, I might put some lashes, I might not. I don't know. I don't know yet. Okay, so I'm still preserving that white part over there. Okay, after this little part here, then of his fur, then I'm going to paint right now this black triangle so that you can see under his eye. He sank in a little bit, and that we need to paint because we need to be correct, right? We need to be correct. We need to get his form so he looks like a bear, because he is a bear. I think I've told you in a different when I paint the different painting, just talking and gabbing and talking about things. I told you that I like to chase bear. I'm not going to do that anymore, because one time we saw one and we were really excited. Not really chase them in any close way, but I was close enough that mommy bear and two baby bears saw me. Mommy bear saw me, and she actually turned her face and growled at me and go and I learned from that point that, wow, I really am not doing something very wise, to do that kind of thing, right? Because she can be, I know how fast bear can run, and she can go from her spot to me in no time. But she decided not to do that, and then afterwards I walked back to my car. I was with my sister. I think it was just me and my sister, and my daughter was behind us. So there was the three of us, and I was a little bit too close for my comfort, and the growling didn't make me very happy. And I didn't sense danger. I think as human we do sense danger when we are in danger, and I didn't sense any danger, and I know that at that day I didn't have any danger. But if I keep doing that, I will. Usually at Yellowstone National Park you see the bear. Okay, this is getting wet, so I wouldn't touch it. I will come back and darken that a little bit. Wow, see how much I bend my brush. I really make my brush work hard, don't I? But I didn't sense any danger, and I knew that I didn't have any danger. And the mommy bear is not really mad at me, but mad enough to look at me and growl. And I, regret it. One is I don't want to scare them, and one is, one day, one of them might just be really threatened and decide to really go after me. Okay, and that wouldn't be a good thing. And I wouldn't like that to happen. And well, I start running. I wouldn't want to just blame my sister that she was the one that started running. I start running, and then my sister decide to run. No, or maybe she start running, towards the bear, and then so pretty soon we were, catching up because they were just walking, and we took pictures, and nah, not worth it, and not good to disturb them. And I'm saying that I was close. I was not very close, just so that you guys know that. But nah, it's not a good thing, I still see them, and most of the time in Yellowstone, when you see bear, there are a big group of people. Okay, so they are not like really just picking on you, like to say who is the mean person who find us, But that day when we find the bear, we were the first one. We were the first one that find the bear, and that was very, I guess you can call it lucky, but you can also call it unlucky. And then a group of people start coming around us because bear sighting is kind of fun, and so now I'm going to do some kind of a circle thing around here with my sepia ink, okay, just because that's the way they look when you're viewing the 3/4 of his face. Okay, so I'm gonna just like kind of do this. All these we have to paint because it just make him more realistic. Okay, and then I'm going to put some brown over here, burn umber, no, sorry, not brown, burn umber over here. And if it is a little too red, then you put some sepia on it. Okay, and then there's another layer of circle, or of actually circle-like shape over here. Okay, and it go all the way down here, and we need to paint that. Okay, and so sepia first. Okay, I've been with you guys for almost 40 some minutes now. I knew that the bear is gonna take a little bit longer, so that's why I plan to split it up with the Candy Cane and our Sugar Plum is really fun. So I hope you guys like finish this and you come back and try to watch or do the other part too, okay? Because it's just really fun. And the Sugar Plum to me is a little bit easier, but I wouldn't say that it is for you because I have been wrong before. Like things that I think is easy is not easy for other people. You know, everybody feel different. So that's the mix of two color. Okay, let's see. That is a little bit dry, and so I will put in some of the sepia color over here. Okay, this needs to be darker over here. So should I do it? Yeah, let's just do it now. I was thinking that maybe I need to leave it a little bit more dry, but I think it's good. It's ready. Yeah. And bear does have some kind of a hollow right next to their nose. Like they don't have a cheekbone, or not as high as human anyway. Is it funny to think of it that way? They do have a cheekbone. But on this side, his nose is holding the flesh from going in, right? But on this side, his fat is actually coming in that way. So you don't need to do it's dropping onto his, close to his nose. So you don't need to paint the cheekbone over this side. So, talking about Yellowstone again, but I'm just darkening the fur over here, not trying to paint a cheekbone. But I realize it's too dark, so I need to soften that. We were at Yellowstone, when was it? Oh, wow, November, the last week before it closed. And so bears go hibernate around that time. Okay, we're gonna do some fuzzy. This is gonna be a long video. I hope you guys put up with it. And need to do some fuzzy around here, okay? Because he's just fuzzy, and so I'm gonna just do some fuzz as short strokes, okay, around this area. And so the bear likes to, and I'm gonna mix sepia with burnt umber too, okay, for this fuzzy area. The bear likes to go. I think they go hibernate around November, the middle or towards the end of November. So in November they are trying to get fat. Okay, short stroke. They're trying to get fat, and so they're out eating a lot, and they do eat fish. I'm sure you've seen a video on YouTube sometime talk about seeing them actually not just eat fish, they eat elk. And so if they can eat elk, they probably can eat me. And so we saw a bear one day. James and I were at the east entrance of the Yellowstone National Park, and there was a group of people already had their camera out. So this time there was no real danger, and don't worry. And he was actually in quite a grizzly bear, quite off a distance, and he was huge and full of a pack with fat. I think that's their way of getting ready for winter. And it was really a sight, and my husband was just having a lot of fun and laughing so hard that we never had seen I guess it's fall, in the middle of fall, I guess. You know, we have never seen one at that time of the year before, and that was a real sight of how much food they have to pack in before they go hibernate. And that was a really fun day to see that. We had a good time. Okay, I'm darkening this part because I wanted you guys to see that he's closing his eye, okay? So I don't want that to be light, because if it is light, then it looks like he's opening his eye. So that is not what we try to accomplish. And I'm putting some dark, because this is a dark area, some dark pigment with, you know, I'm putting coming up here, and so that he looks like his eyes are closed, okay? And I was thinking of contemplating and doing some shape of the eyeball, because even though he's closed, his eyes is closed, it's still this eyeball underneath there. And I decided against it, because if I do that, if I go in and do the shape of the eye, you will see that it will come across to you as his eye is actually open. And that was the mistake I made when I was practicing. So I'm not going to do that. Just let him close his eyes, okay? Let him get the eye closed. But you can see, you can actually see part of the shape of the circle is like kind of right there, okay? Okay, let's do his top fuzzy. The top fuzzy part of his hair. Okay, so it's trying to go the direction of his, I can actually use a little more pigment. Let's do that. The direction of his feather going this way and that way, okay? Going this way, actually, not that way. And we would want to paint that. Okay. So that is suggesting that his fur is actually going that way. Which is exactly what happened to a bear. Okay, this is quite wet, so I'm going to leave that alone and try to, you know, fan out, okay? His fur actually fan out, and I'm going to do that now. My sepia is getting wet, so I have to be careful not just make it too wet. You know, I need sometimes I need a stronger pigment. And that will be a little too strong, okay? The pigment right here, but don't worry, I will come in and fix that. But after I give it enough pigment, I will come in and fix that and just pull the pigment out a little bit. That's why I think I'm doing this thing to edit it so you can see the end of this. So as I'm doing, you know, the triangle come down here, don't do a straight line, okay? The triangle come down here and come down here, okay? And then it fan out up here so that you you know, you portray the bear correctly, okay? And then this part, I'm gonna let it go, let it disappear into the round of his head, and I'm going to use the background to help me to make his head stand out a little bit more, but that will be in the next video when I paint the sugar plum and the candy canes, okay? And so let's get a little bit more pigment over here and intensify this area, and then we'll come in with burnt umber, because it has some burnt umber around here also, okay? Just remember there's an imaginary line going through there, and you just keep that line straight as you were painting. Okay, I would just call this advanced painting, because I think there's a lot of things that you need to keep in your mind as you are painting this painting. And so I'll just call this advanced painting, because you're painting a bear. Okay, and then I'm going to drop sepia again in the middle and make the middle darker. Just the middle part darker, okay? But anyway, that bear was very, very fat. And very cute. Not really cute. I mean, if you're close enough to him, I guess he's not cute. Scary, maybe scary a little bit, but it was really cute to be able to see him. And he was over there eating, but he wasn't eating meat. Oh, maybe he find a rat. I don't know. It could be, because I know that in the fall. Oh, and also I've seen them in the fall. They like to eat fatty thing, so I guess maybe if I'm skinnier, they probably won't pick on me. I don't know. You know, it's not worth it to eat muscle. They need to eat fat. You know. so it's not worth it to eat me. And so they have fats, and they eat fats, and so I have seen in year past before that they actually climb up to trees, and you know that bear do climb trees, and they climb up to pine trees and trying to get the pine nuts. That is very cute. I only seen that once. Hopefully we'll be able to see it more in the years to come. And that day, when that little black bear, I think it's a black bear, it wasn't a grizzly, was up there trying to get uh, the pine nuts, there was at least I don't know, a few hundred people. Your car can hardly move, so you might as well just, because it's a sight, it's really really cute. Okay, so I have painted some direction of the fur, and that make it a little bit prettier. Okay, and let's do the fuzzy a little bit better on the nose. Okay, I left it alone because it was wet, and I want it to be a little bit fuzzier. You know, it's almost like dotting it. Okay, it's almost like dotting it. Okay, and I kind of wanted to make this part stand out a little bit more. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's good. Then you can see that, you know, you can see his eye better, or his the line. That is just water. The paintbrush is getting unhappy because it's getting a lot of water on it. Okay, I'm dapping it so you can see his eye better. I think that's good. Wow. Thank you for painting along, because this is since the skill is a little bit advanced and the bear is a little bit complicated, you need to um, spend a lot of time. I hope it's okay with you guys. You know, if you can't finish it, then just take a different time and come back. I can actually walk off and come back at this point, or at mostly any point, because you know, that's with watercolor, right? Just let the rest of the watercolor dry and then you'll be fine. But you know, I wanted to finish it for you, you know, at this point. Okay, and so what I'm doing here is because that's where his fur will come down, and his face is being squished by the log that's underneath him, so there should be shadow here. So I'm putting in the shadow so that when the painting is done, you see that it's a resting bear. Okay, it's just resting on the log, and it's natural to have a band of dark color over there. Okay, and then some over here. We don't have to, it's just still sepia ink, and we don't have to make a big long line, you know, it's not necessary. It's just this is my artist what do you call that, the artist license, right? Because you know, I don't like things that are too symmetrical, and so this is what I do. Okay, and now you can see that, and there's some of his fur, and so I would like to just drop a little bit of sepia, burn umber ink in here, so you can see that it is dropping there. Okay, it is his fur coming down. Okay, and so I can pretty much leave this part alone, but what I'm gonna do is just brush a little bit of his hair, just a little bit of his hair here and there, his fur, sorry, here and there, so that should be enough for that part. Okay, so showing some direction, that's it. Okay, let's work on his nosy a little bit. Okay, his nose a little bit. Okay, not a little bit, actually the whole thing. And so I'm using paint spray, and so I'm going back to dip the paints, and then the nostril area, dip in the paint spray. Okay, and so the the top part is deeper, and as it come down, then it see some light. Okay, and so it become lighter, and then you can clean the brush and then pull the color out. Okay, and then it look more realistic that way. And the same with that side, but since this part where I'm painting, he's actually, the sun can't get over here, right? And so he's actually more dark over this way. Okay, so as an artist, we observe these things. Okay, we observe these things so we can paint correctly. Okay, and then he might be able to get some sunlight over there. Okay, remember earlier I was trying to make his shape, and then I wasn't able to because it was too wet. So now I'm coming back here and I'm going to do the shape. That's by darkening this area, and then as his nose turn, then you pull the color out and lighten it, and that gives you the impression that it's not just a round, it is a form, whatever you can call the form, a box or rectangle. Wow, sometimes I'm just ran out of descriptive words, I guess. Okay, and then I want this part to be just a tad darker than that. Okay, and then you know that this is in the light. Okay, so I'm gonna just put a little bit more over here, just a little bit. Okay, and now his nose is kind of shining on the top. Isn't that cute? Not shining, but get some highlight. Okay, and then I'm gonna darken this area because this area is dark. Okay, darker, not totally, not as dark as the inside of his nostril. Okay, and then I am gonna put some same dark color over here. Okay, and then okay, I think his face is pretty much done. Yes, isn't he cute? He's just cute. Maybe I'll come and darken his eyelid, okay, at the very end. Okay, now we're gonna paint this area. Okay, so that is has some skill, and that is already 1 hour. Thank you for putting up with the long time. Okay, so right now I'm going to use some Payne's gray mixed with some black color and mixed with some burnt umber. Okay, so it's actually a pretty dark color. Okay, that's what I'm gonna start with. Okay, over here. Okay, and let's paint the easier part. That's when his easier part first, when his paw come, it just tuck under his arm, right? A little bit, tuck under his shoulder a little bit. Okay, and then it came out. Okay, and all the time you have to remember. Okay, it is furry. Okay, so let's make sure that we paint the direction of his fur, going in for more pigment. The direction of his fur, okay, because that is very important. Okay, and leaving some area. Now these are not highlight. I'm leaving some area, and then I'll show you what I do with that area. This area that I'm leaving. Okay, and pay attention to the squareness of his nose right here, of the bottom of his nose, because you know his bone is right there and the face droop, and so there's this part that we need to preserve. Okay, it's very fun, right? Oh, I really hope that you guys try it and have fun. Maybe try some of the other first and then come back and do this later. Oh, and there's yeah, as I'm thinking about talking to you guys as trying different things, my daughter is going to set up a shop where I can actually sell these paintings. And so if you guys really like it or really enjoy it and want to, you know, or not really a painter yourself, or just I'm a painter, I'm an artist, and I buy other art too because it's just nice. It's nice to help other artists out, and it's also nice to just have not just my art but different art. And so she's gonna set up the shop for me just on my blog. I used to sell in Etsy, and I did quite well. But I didn't want to do that anymore, and so my daughter said, "Hey mom, do you want to sell it?" And I say, "Yes, I do. If you guys like to buy it, then I will be happy. But of course, no pressure. It always help, right? It always help the artist." Okay, that is his last nail. Oh, I don't know what to call it. Like I say, I'm running out of descriptive word. Okay, so take care to leave that to leave that part, this part alone. Okay, and then there will be hair coming this way, and then hair coming that way, and hair coming every which way. Okay, so we will do that. It's a little tricky, you know. It's just take some just pay attention to the details. Okay, okay, so the hair come down this way. Okay, and pay attention to the details, and then there will be hair coming this way. And I think of the whole bear, this is the part where the hair is coming that we need to really pay attention. Okay, okay, while it's still wet, we can actually do that. And here comes the burnt umber, and I'm gonna put in a little bit black because it need to be kind of dark burnt umber. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is fill in this area that I leave earlier. I showed you I leave the space. Okay, so it's a mix of hair. Actually, it's very prominent in the picture that there are two mixing of hair color, a very dark hair and this brown coming down. Okay, and so we need to paint that. Make sure we paint that to make it correct in nature. Okay, make it look correct. Okay, don't worry about the separation of the color. I will come in and I'll show you. You know, we can blend it together. But as of right now, we really want to have some dark brown going there. So you can see, oh wow, that's black. So you can see that there's dark brown hair coming out of the bear. Okay, and just let it kind of drape and droops and mix with the other color mix. Okay, we'll just let it mix together. Okay, and this is when you see he actually has his fur dripping over his nails or the sharp part of his claws, and then we need to paint that. Okay, and then with this too, the fore nail, I guess that's how you call it, it actually drooped down almost straight down. Okay, like that. Okay, now that's in no way done, you know, that's very coarse right now, and we'll come in and blend it in. Okay, and let's do this part of the shoulder, which is very simple. I think because it's light, there's a lot of brown, but since we use sepia, we need to be consistent, right? Mix the sepia with the brown. Okay, and come down here. Okay, that's his face, right? His face right here. So we need to keep the integrity of the line of his face. Okay. Okay, that part of the butt against each other, right? They're right against each other. Don't worry. You know, I will show you what my plan is later, in a minute. Okay. Okay, there you go. And so, because that area go down, and we needed to make sure we show that. Okay, and so let's get some brown color, and then we'll do this just lightly. Okay, and then soften that so that disappear into the background, and then we'll use the background to help us. Okay, and okay, I still need that area to dry a little bit more, but I wanted to show you, and I'm going to change to a finer brush. Where's my finest brush? Where did it go? do I need to use? Oh, yeah, there you go. It just slipped down. Okay, my finest brush, and I'm going to use black. Okay, and just go in and paint the bottom of his paws. Okay, so in my mind, I'm keeping a round shape. Okay, I'm trying to keep a round shape in my mind, you know, and connecting this with this as you go, and making sure that the fur still look like a fur. Okay, that's coming down, the brown that we just painted. Okay, so I'm doing some kind of triangle, and so that you will see that. So a better word to describe it is we're doing the padding. Oh wow, a drop of water just come in. Okay, that needs to be absorbed. Okay, a drop of color just came in from my brush. That usually happen with a smaller brush. They hold a drop there and then it suddenly drop on you, but that's okay. You know, I wasn't doing bad with that. Okay, and so we are coming down. Can you see that? The pad of his okay. When I practice, I bring this down too far down and I didn't like it, so now I'm going to just make it not so far down onto his to the bottom of his finger, the bottom of his sharp nail. Okay, so we know that bear has that, right? And then we go this way. Okay, and so his claws are resting resting on the pad of his the whole claw. Doesn't that, like, as you're painting that, doesn't that make you scared a little bit? I'm a little bit scared just looking at his nails, but that's okay. This is a really cute baby bear, so we don't need to be scared of him, but then it's good to be scared a little bit. Okay, I'm darkening the top part, darkening the black if that's possible, you know, pretty much full pigment. Okay, because that is really in the shadow, and so I think that's good. I'm very happy with the with the way he is, and I wanted that to be even a little bit more dry before I go in and work on it. Okay, and so let's work on his eyes. Okay, the same very fine paintbrush here. Ooh, I haven't even looked at the camera. I hope I never did get out of that you can't see. But I find out I do pretty well because I don't move around that much. Okay, it's important that his eyes show. Okay, but that was too harsh of a line, so I need to go in and feather it out a little bit. Just feather it out so it's not a harsh line. And of course it is not. So I feather that out a little bit, okay? But I just want to make sure that you can see that I make it darker. So his eyes stand out. The lid, I guess, stand out the line of his eye. And that you can see that, okay? And so he's pretty much asleep. Okay, he is really pretty much done. And so what I wanted to do before I come in and do something with that area is to paint, you know, I say that it's the log that he's resting in, but it really is not really, you know, because I'm not going to paint the detail, because sometimes you can really have too much detail on a painting. Okay, so let's not do that. And so I'm going to just barely suggest that there's a log, that he's resting on a log down here. Okay, just some color, just some color. Okay, just some color so you can see that he's resting on something. So he's not, yeah, the term that I was trying to use is not, he's not floating. He's not just floating on air, right? Because that wouldn't be good. and just give him something to rest on. Anchor him, yeah, onto a log. Okay, so hopefully you can imagine that he's on a log, and that will help us to give us the using the log as a background to bring out his nails. Or it can be sand, okay, but not too much detail, because if at this time you put in a lot of detail, it take away from the bear. I'm just darken this part a little bit so his nail showed up. Okay, yeah, it is not good to have too much detail, but of course we're gonna have some detail as we need to go in and paint the candy cane and sugar plum. Okay, so we don't want so much down here. Okay, and I will actually use sepia on this side to anchor this. Whatever he's resting on. So you can see that. That was too watery. I think I'm going to use a towel next time to dry instead of a piece of paper, and that will at least keep the brush not as wet. Okay, so just barely, and you can see he's resting on something and his anchor. He's not floating in midair anymore. Okay, all right, so let's just call it that is dry enough, and we're brave and ready, and use some kind of medium size. Okay, I'm going to go in on the black and just dip a little bit of brown, and hopefully, you know, get a really nice brown color. Okay, and so I'm going in there. Going in there, you can see this will help the two color doesn't look so separate. Okay, I would say that this part is probably the hardest part of the painting, because what you're trying to do is trying to get his fur together. Okay, his fur together, like mix two color, a black and a brown, you know, and make sure that it's kind of consistent. Okay, so I'm gonna just do that and use all the pigment closest to the top part, and then pull it down. Okay, what do you think? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that it is doing well? The painting is doing well? I hope yours is too. Okay, don't get discouraged, and you're not required to do very well the first time. We all make mistakes and we all struggle. I always tell myself and my children, if you decide that you don't want to, if you don't give up, then one day you will learn it. One day you'll learn it and you will win, right? So to speak. I guess there's nothing to win. I don't know what we're trying to win. But if you don't give up, then one day you'll learn it. And then whatever you learn, stick with you, right? Stick with you to the rest of your life and beyond. And so let's not be afraid of learning, right? And so now I'm getting in there and getting some brown. And mix it in. Okay, just like that. And I think his paw is done. When I'm looking at the picture, the bear paw is so much darker than the rest of the bear. So that you know, I'm trying to, you know, paint it correctly, and I think it is correct. Okay, let's make his nail look like a pyramid, okay, instead of just a little triangle that we have down there, okay? And so we're gonna do this, and then I'll let you go, okay? We'll just do this with pink spray. Okay, just put a little line there and then soften it, okay? And be sure to leave a little bit of a white on the top of the nail, okay? Just like that, okay? So it stands out a little bit more. We can actually use the black that's underneath it, but you know, just to make it prettier, I like to use the gray, okay? Do you see the black? The white that I leave up there? I just dipped my paintbrush into pink, and that won't be good. And the next time when I come back and do the second part, you guys will see how I'm going to make sure everything is consistent and have a very happy bear. Okay. Okay, I think I really like him. I think he's done, he's ready. Okay, before I leave, I'm going to put a little bit of, and let you guys see this, okay? And so, okay, he's going this way. And I'm just gonna just put that. And just that. And you guys see that he has a face. And that's what my plan is. And then we'll use the background and the background over here to bring it out, okay? Hey, thank you for painting this really fun bear. I hope you have a lot of fun. Okay, don't be discouraged. This is quite advanced, and I hope you enjoy it, and then we will finish it in the second block. Thank you so much.